US news screams crisis, yet 1.19 million still flock to America every year. Record highs. Despite strict vetting, the desire for America is exploding. America is a massive black hole, absorbing global wealth and talent. Most become proud US citizens 5 years after getting their green cards. Noticing more new Korean neighbors or colleagues around you lately? They aren't just migrants, they're experts abandoning the Korean system. Excluding citizens, over 1 million Koreans already hold US green cards. With 18,000 new holders in 2024, it's a full-blown structural exodus. Your new neighbors are likely elites, execs and doctors with capital. Their kids are in US schools, and their assets are already in dollars. 45 out of 100,000 leaving annually is a bizarre world record pace. Do Americans leave too? Yes. 4,800 renounced their citizenship in 2024. But that's a tiny fraction, 1/40th of the rate we see in Korea. Japan and Taiwan are at 1/3 our rate. Taiwan is even seeing people return. Even Malaysia is at 32. Korea's 45 is a national escape. They're swapping the entire system for the US or Australia. This is the new Great Migration, like the British heading to the New World. It's a structural choice, abandoning a broken system for a new one. No longer for survival, it's a strategic move by those with capital and skill. Why is this dystopia happening in a top 10 global economy like Korea? In Korea, building wealth is hard. Protecting it is nearly impossible. The culprit? The death tax, which strips away half of a life's work. To pass down $7.5 million in Korea, you must hand $3.5 million to the state. A 50% top rate. Half of your hard-earned wealth vanishes instantly. In the US, a couple can pass down $28 million entirely tax-free. The US offers far more legal shields to protect wealth than Korea. To the wealthy, Korea is temporary. America is permanent. Korean wealth vanishes in 2 generations. US wealth stays intact. This compound interest is why American dynasties rise by the 3rd generation. For your family's future, which passport system will you choose? Koreans must pay a flat 22% tax on all US stock profits. But once you become a US resident, the rules change entirely. Earn $75,000 in long-term gains, a US person could pay $0 in tax. In Korea, you'd surrender $16,000 to the government instantly. The real power lies in the US tax loss carry-forward system. In Korea, if you lose $75,000, then gain $75,000, you are still taxed on the gain. Americans use past losses to offset gains, bringing taxes down to 0. Over 10 years, this compounds into a massive wealth gap. The ultimate American privilege is the retirement account. 401k and IRA plans offer massive immediate tax deductions. Inside these, you can make millions on Nvidia and pay $0 in tax. Self-employed, solo 401ks let you grow $70,000 annually, tax-free. It's incomparable to Korea's limited and restrictive systems. That 22% stays in your US account, fueling further growth. After 30 years, the US investor will be 3 times wealthier. Then, there's the employer match, essentially free money. Companies often double your savings for free. It's an instant 100% ROI. You get a 100% return the day you start. Why would anyone stay? This is why Korean elites are quietly swapping systems for America. In Korea, even one-home owners face tax bombs, and investors are treated like criminals. Unlike Korea's speculation lens, the US protects your home as a sanctuary. A married couple keeps $500,000 in profit, tax-free. Buy for $750,000, sell for $1.2 million. Keep every cent and upgrade. US property tax seems high, but zero acquisition tax and huge exemptions win out. Your tax dollars go directly to local schools and your neighborhood police. Rising home values mean better schools and safer streets. A virtuous cycle. No punitive wealth taxes here. Home appreciation is 100% your asset. California's Proposition 13 limits tax hikes to 2%, even if home values jump tenfold. Some talk of a wealth tax, but that only targets the ultra-rich, billionaires. Feds want cuts, states vary. This competition gives you the freedom to choose. This is why the Korean middle class swaps apartments for American backyards. Why are Korea's young elites racing to board planes for America? The answer is simple: the income ceiling of the Korean system. A $75,000 engineer in Korea gets $300,000 in Silicon Valley. A US junior's starting pay often beats a Korean director's salary. Doctors and lawyers in the US earn 3 times more than in Korea. Plus, American society shows much more respect for high earners. It's not just inflation, the absolute savings are on another level. Korea has a salary cap. The US offers millions via stock options. Forget the university name. In America, only skills matter. In your 50s, if you're good, you can still leap to a new career. The US loves side hustles and offers the world's best VC support. Sure, high rent in Silicon Valley eats into your purchasing power, but the absolute cash left in your bank is overwhelmingly higher. For the talented, America is the land of fair and massive rewards. This is the real reason behind the quiet exodus of Korea's elites. In Korea, education is a cost. In America, it's a high return investment. Foreign students pay 4 times more. Green card holders pay the same low local rates. Residents get in-state tuition, studying for 1/3 the price of foreigners. At UC Berkeley, foreigners pay $60,000 a year. Residents pay only $15,000. That's a $180,000 gap over 4 years. A green card is a massive scholarship itself. Most top US med and dental schools are closed to non-residents. Over 95% of accepted US medical students are citizens or residents. Federal aid like FAFSA is strictly reserved for Americans and residents. Residency isn't just a status, it's a weapon for your child's career. Now you see why Korea's elite parents are bringing their kids to America. Koreans spend lives in cramped apartments, trapped in constant comparison. Many are tired of status symbols, luxury goods, and big cars, just for show. For the price of one Seoul apartment, what can you buy in Texas or Georgia? A 3,500 square foot mansion with a pool on a huge lot and cash to spare. The mental peace from vast personal space is incomparable to Korea. No noise, no parking wars, no smog. It's a literal lifesaver for retirement. In America, no one cares what you drive or what brand you wear. Save the showing off money and invest it in your family's future. This is where real life begins, free from the judgment of others. This is why the Korean middle class is crossing the Pacific for America. Korea's best healthcare mostly applies to minor illnesses like colds. With employer insurance, US healthcare is world-class and private. True, gap period premiums are high, and surgery without insurance is costly. But even for the self-employed, premiums are 100% tax deductible. Over 65, Medicaid covers caregivers and nursing homes for low-income seniors. Compared to Korea's nursing costs, the US offers more freedom in old age. Work 10 years in the US and you earn a pension in powerful dollars. Even if the won crashes, a dollar pension remains a reliable safety net. SNAP and Section 8 housing aid are more robust than anything in Korea. This is why Koreans choose the massive safety net of the US system. All Korean assets face huge risks: North Korea and population collapse. When crisis hits, the won crashes while the US dollar soars. Holding the world's safest currency is a literal risk-free return. Unlike aging Korea, America is a young nation, attracting global talent. Having a next generation to buy your assets is ultimate protection. Why are Europe's castles crumbling? Because there's no one left to buy. Asset value depends on people being there to sustain the system. America's young growth is the strongest shield for your retirement. This is why global capital always settles in dollars and US real estate. The choice is yours. Which system will you trust with your future? Korea is built on ties. America is a pure meritocracy. A US passport is the world's most powerful ID and pride. Kids here gain social capital, connecting to global power networks. Escape the toxic "what car do you drive" comparison culture. Focus your resources on what you want. That's true efficiency. The highly educated flee Korea's vertical, rigid hierarchy. Age doesn't matter. Skills make you a leader or CEO here. Korea hates the rich. America respects those who build wealth. With a culture of giving, it's better to be wealthy in America. This is why the world's best talent always settles in America. South Korea versus Japan versus Taiwan. People don't emigrate because their country is weak. Tens of thousands quit Korea annually. Wealthy exits are at world record highs. Japan has expats, but few actually renounce their nationality like Koreans. Even with China's threats, Taiwanese are actually returning home now. But Koreans aren't just moving, they are rejecting the system entirely. The culprits? Punitive inheritance taxes and toxic hyper-competition. When the state takes half your life's work, escape becomes the only option. The US is the safest harbor for building and passing down wealth. People choose the system that honestly protects their family's hard work. Behind the K-culture hype, this is the painful reality of Korea's elites. Do you still think you're just lucky to be living in America? Young elites use STEM OPT to bridge into H-1B and green cards. O1 Genius visas are now a hit for creators and founders. Many start with J1 internships to get a foot in the US door. Veterans over 40 target EB5 investment or NIW for specialists. Some choose Europe via Portugal's D7 or Golden visas instead. Germany's Blue Card and Dutch Tech visas are also top targets. They aren't traveling, they're moving where talent is valued most. While the world competes for them, Korea is pushing them away. Different visas, one goal, joining a superior system. Where are your career and capital headed right now? Stay for patriotism or move as an investor in your family's future. It's not about feelings, it's about which system wins for my family. Korea is stagnating and taxes are melting away your life's work. Moving to a superior system is a natural survival instinct today. Korea is convenient to live, but the harshest place to protect wealth. Now, immigration is no longer a dream, it's an essential strategy. Move your children from a stagnant system to a superpower system. Loving your country and protecting your wealth are two different things. Decide where your hard-earned wealth will shine the brightest. This is the final question of the new Korean exodus. Let's calculate the lifetime ROI of a US green card for a family. Child education and career gains, that's a $350,000 to $750,000 win. Avoid Korea's inheritance tax. You save $1.1 million to $1.5 million instantly. Tax savings on investments over 30 years, add another $750,000. Higher US salaries mean a lifetime earnings gap of up to $3 million. In short, moving to the US is a $4 million investment of a lifetime. This isn't an emotional exit because you dislike Korea. It's a cold, rational move to grow your family's wealth tenfold. Where will you allocate your life? The numbers don't lie. This is why the world's elites always settle in the United States. What's your take on today's video? What truth did you find? After the 17th century Great Migration, Britain faced centuries of chaos. Only after painful losses did their system finally change. What should Korean society learn from this harsh history? The Jewish diaspora built global wealth to keep Israel strong. I sincerely hope Korea grows stronger through this global expansion. What must change for talent and wealth to return home, like Taiwan? Please share your thoughts below. I'd love to start a conversation. Like and subscribe to Atlas Reader from Korea. Thank you.